SpaceX Starlink shuts down 2,500 dishes in Myanmar. Truth or BS? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we're coming to the end of some misty morning and focused combination. So good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking space, SpaceX, Starlink, and of course some AI and Linux thrown in. Today we're going to be talking about SpaceX Starlink shutting down 2,500 dishes in Myanmar. That's like right on the border of China and Thailand. Supposedly there were some scammers and they were running this big operation and they shut this down. And I did a video on this about, a week ago or so. And this is kind of a follow-up, and it's kind of me calling out mainstream media and their complete and utter BS. So we're going to get into this today because I think it's very important for you guys to understand. And as I always say, take everything with a grain of salt that you hear. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Remember, I'm like some guy wearing a Pac-Man shirt, all right? For the love of God. Do your due diligence, guys. Do your due diligence. Even though every single mainstream media outlet is saying the exact same thing, that doesn't make it true. So that's what we're going to get into today. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, like I always say, throw the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. If you are, thank you. I appreciate that. Click this notification button here so when I go live and when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. So YouTube says but doesn't do it. That's okay. Please do it. Click all. That is helpful. Also, share the video with your friends, family, colleagues, Reddit, Facebook, wherever you traverse the web. That also helps building the channel. If you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a thanks button. Click on that. Give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. Much better, actually. And finally, if you want more SpaceX Starlink specific content, I have just about 600 videos now. I'll put a link here. Don't click on it yet. 600. When I say it, it just seems like it doesn't come off the tongue very well. 600 I've put together over the last 56, 57 months just for you. Check them out. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, and of course the why, as I always say, because the why is more important than the how. And I always do say math doesn't lie. And I think actually today we're going to see how math does not lie. Anyways, I put together a couple of the articles. Some of them are really leaning one way. Some are kind of middle ground. I put it together. I wanted to read this to you first. And then, of course, I'll give you my commentary. My commentary will probably be longer than the articles because I really want to dive into this a little bit because once again, like I said, I think that this is important. I'm just so sick of seeing what I see in mainstream media, the exact same nonsense regurgitated by every single outlet, without doing the math, without doing the research, not knowing the topic that they're discussing. It's aggravating. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this. Let's get into it. Starlink terminals disabled in Myanmar scam crackdown. SpaceX has confirmed that it has disabled more than 2,500 Starlink internet terminals in Myanmar in response to a link between the terminals and a scam operations center located on the border between China and Thailand. According to a vice president of Starlink business operations, the company, quote, proactively identified and disabled over 25 Starlink kits in the vicinity of suspected scam center. The action follows a recent raid by Myanmar's military forces on a large compound known as KK Park near the Thai border, where authorities detained more than 2,000 people and seized at least 30 Starlink satellite internet terminals. Local media noted that the 30 seized units were only a fraction of the total devices reportedly in place. I'll get into that in just a second. That's very, very important information that they're not providing. What we know. The compound in question has been used for large-scale online fraud operations, including romance scams and investment fraud campaigns, and is located in an area where conventional internet and power services are often restricted or cut off. Media reports suggest that Starlink hardware has been smuggled into the region, offering operators a way to maintain connectivity. Despite Starlink not being licensed to operate in Myanmar, reports indicate hundreds of terminals are deployed in the region, installed on rooftops or remote compounds. SpaceX did not specify exactly how many of the 2,500 disabled units were active at the time of disconnect, nor how many remained in use after the takedown. The company response. SpaceX issued a statement noting that it complies with local laws in more than 150 markets where Starlink is officially licensed, and that it takes action when violations of its acceptable use policy, or TOS, or terms of service, are detected. The company emphasized that disabling terminals is part of its effort to prevent misuse of its service for criminal activities. Why this matters. The situation raises significant questions about responsibility, governance, and scale. Starlink's global service model and portable satellite terminals are designed to bring connectivity to remote locations, but the same features may allow misuse in jurisdictions with weak oversight. Compounds installing dozens or hundreds of dishes can operate with low footprint but high impact. For SpaceX, the takedown may mark the first time the company publicly announced massive terminal disablement in a law enforcement context. The ambiguity in how many devices were active pose a challenge, while independent verification of the 2,500 number or actual usage is unavailable. What comes next? Going forward, SpaceX may face mounting pressure from governments and law enforcement agencies to implement stricter user verification, traffic monitoring, and disabling protocols. Basically, policing. The question remains whether the company can realistically police thousands of global terminals, especially in jurisdictions where Starlink is not licensed. As regulators and governments evaluate the case, the outcome could set precedent for how satellite internet services are managed and monitored globally. So, let's get into it a little bit deeper now, as we do on this channel. Do the math, as I always say. So to start out with, this is completely overstated, in my personal opinion. And before the end of the video, you're going to know why. The bottom line here is that 2,500 terminal figure is more like network disablement and not claims of shutting down specific IDs. Okay? Because that is not what ended up happening here. Now, they didn't say it one way or another, but what ended up happening was mainstream media ran with it and said that SpaceX Starlink shut down the 2,500 terminals, almost like there was 2,500 bad guys out there, or there was an entire building of bad guys with 2,500 available SpaceX Starlinks. And that is absolutely not the case. In my personal opinion, this was a network disablement, a node or cell shutdown. Now, mainstream media would put out a headline, something like, SpaceX disables 2,500 Starlink kits in Myanmar tied to scammers or scam operations or whatever, okay? So it sounds like they actually shut down all of these 2,500 and they are somehow attached to these scammers. And that is 110% incorrect. If you remember in the last video that I did, I said, listen, authorities, or actually it was military, found, I think it was like 28, not even 30. Let's just call it 30. 30 SpaceX Starlink dishes on the top of the roof in this KK park. Not 2,500. They took 28, or let's call it 30. Okay? Now, during a flyby, and I have that, and I talked about it also in the last video, they actually saw a total of just under 60 of the SpaceX Starlink dishes. They were only able to get, when they, I guess, raided this place, 30 of them. But there was 60 at one point, according to what the drone shows on the video. So, 30 or 60 is not 2,500, right? Those are the facts. So it doesn't matter what SpaceX Starlink is saying, mainstream media is taking it out of context and pushing its own narrative. And what ends up happening is every single one of these media outlets regurgitates the exact same fallacies. Why? Well, either they are all in cahoots with one another, or they just simply are lazy and they don't want to do the math. They don't want to do the research. They don't understand what they're talking about. So the bottom line here is SpaceX did not hunt scammers. They basically flipped the switch on the location. They turned off the node. They turned off the cells that fly over Myanmar and the areas around it. And in so doing, they're shutting down approximately 2,500 terminals that they've heard ping in the area over a set period of time. That could be the guy down the street that's trying to watch Netflix. It could be a scammer. You follow me? The only scammer terminals that they were able to recover was 28, or let's call it 30. And the maximum that they were able to find was like 60 on video that were actually on top of this KK Park building, not 2,500. So once again, this is not SpaceX policing the internet. This is actually SpaceX doing what any ISP would do when service is being used in a restricted area. That's going against their TOS or their terms of service. Disabling a cell is not law enforcement. Disabling the cell is once again just going to or using their TOS to do what they should be doing in the first place. Do you remember at the beginning of the article, it stated something like SpaceX Starlink was not authorized to be used in Myanmar? You remember that? That was actually factual. So you shouldn't be using SpaceX Starlink in Myanmar anyways. I don't care if it's a terminal that you bought off the black market that is a residential type of terminal, or even if you picked up a mini, which is expected to be able to be used on the go throughout the world. But if there's certain areas that are restricted, like Myanmar, those cells should be turned off anyways, but they're not. Okay. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more because it gets deeper than this. Okay. It gets deeper, and I'm going to give you some information that you probably don't know as of right now. And hopefully you appreciate this because, I like to dig in a little bit. And that's probably why in my last video, it got almost no views, because I kind of went a little contrarian to the norm and YouTube doesn't like it. That's just how it is. Okay. Even though we have free speech here in the US, it's kind of a gray area. You basically can say whatever you want to say, but if it is not liked, it is suppressed. You follow that? That's how it works. Bear that in mind. It's very, very important. I have like 141,000 people on the channel, and I think like within the first hour, there was like 200-300 people that watched the video. If YouTube actually put the video out there to the 140, even if you took 1%, right? It would be, what, 1,400? Not a couple of hundred? So it's complete nonsense. And this will probably end up happening with this video also. So I hope you appreciate it. Anyways, let's get into India. Okay? Let me use India for example. Now, forever, SpaceX Starlink, and I've talked to you guys about this in the past, they've been trying to get their service into India literally for like 2 years, on, and all sorts of talks, right? A bunch of nonsense. I always said I'm not going to cover the India story on this channel because I'm sick of hearing it. It was just in the news continuously. They're going to get it. They're not going to get it. This and that. There needs to be policing involved. Elon Musk has to police all traffic that's going in and out of India. If not, it cannot be used in India. And I remember saying to you guys, there's no way that Elon is going to do that, police traffic in India. Well, In June of 2025, this is what happened. The Indian government granted Starlink a unified license to provide satellite internet service contingent upon compliance with stringent security regulations, including data localization and adherence to national norms. What the F is a national norm? So I did some research here and I wanted to know, okay, we know India does not want free speech, so to speak. They want to control the narrative, right? There's a lot of governments like that. So what is not allowed in India? So I did some research. What I found out was any gambling platform that is not sanctioned by India, basically the Indian government is not getting kickback, is not allowed. So if you have a website that's a gambling website, it's not allowed in India. Once again, if it's not authorized by India. TikTok is not allowed in India. So no traffic from TikTok. Any adult content, not allowed in India. Absolutely not. Extremist websites. What the hell is an extremist website? What is extreme? I know what is extreme to me might not be extreme to you. Also, VoIP or voice over IP or encrypted messaging is not allowed because they want to be able to surveil their citizens. But what I did find out was WhatsApp is allowed, where everything that goes through WhatsApp is encrypted end to end. The Indian government can't see it, and it can be pushed through SpaceX Starlink. So that's one thing that I found to be very odd. And I'm sure there's something that I don't know that's going on there with WhatsApp and India. So basically what's happening here is SpaceX Starlink is having to comply with this unified license. So in short, what's happening here is Elon Musk, SpaceX Starlink, is policing Indian traffic, going in and out. That's through network level filtering, firewalls, QoS or quality of service, routing controls, enforcing blocked IP addresses or blocks of IP addresses, domains, so on and so forth. All traffic. That is a lot of freaking work. And to me, I just never thought that I would see it. So why do I say that? I'm glad you asked. Because policing the traffic going in and out of India is polar opposite to the ethos or modus operandi of Elon Musk and SpaceX Starlink. Their whole idea is to provide uncensored internet to the masses, to the globe. Right? Wrong. The bottom line is India has 1.4 billion people. It's a lot of money, guys. It is a lot of money. And sometimes compromises have to be met, even if they go against your ethos. And I believe that is what's going on here with SpaceX when it comes to India. Now, I just want to point one more thing out to you because I think that this is very much apropos. And it has to do with Iran. I was reading through Iran. Now, you guys know Iran, the U.S., not really good, right? Bombing them and all kinds of other stuff due to nuclear program and all that stuff, right? Well, in 2023, Iran filed a complaint with the ITU. Now, if you don't know what the ITU is, it's the International Telecommunication Union, European, right? The ITU. Against SpaceX for unauthorized Starlink operations within its territory. The ITU ruled in favor of Iran, compelling SpaceX Starlink to deactivate unauthorized devices operating within the country. Do you get that? Did they? No. The answer is no. All right? The answer is no. Now, side note, very close friend of the show, actually a moderator on my Discord channel, is Iranian. He was in Iran for many, many years, and he finally was able to get out. While there, he had to use VPNs and all types of, let's say, against policy means of being able to moderate my Discord. And if he was to get caught, well, there is severe circumstances that could possibly afflict him. Okay, so just so you know, in Iran, if you're caught using SpaceX Starlink, there is provisions for death. But, and this is the big but, why is Iran different than Myanmar? Just like I said at the beginning, Myanmar was shut down. The node, the cell over it was shut down. All right, that's how they did it. They didn't go ID to ID, ID to ID and shut down 2,500 Starlink satellite dishes. They did not do that. All right, they shut down the node. Why are the people not as important as the people of Iran? Why are the people in Myanmar being shut down, whereas the people in Iran are not? Think about that. And the answer to that is the U.S. government. The U.S. government wants the people of Iran to get uncensored information. So the Iranian people know that we're not the bad guy, let's say. They want to push the narrative, the uncensored information, into Iran so that the Iranian government cannot censor it. So as of today, there's about 50 to 60,000 known SpaceX Starlink terminals in the country being used. It's a lot. And they are not being shut down. Even though the ITU in 2023 mandated that SpaceX Starlink shut them down. But they're not. But Myanmar is shut down. Like that. Because there was one big scam ring happening with 30 dishes. 28. Maximum 60. Think about that, right? Think about that. So there's always a lot going on behind the scenes. And when you just take something for face value, you don't get the whole story. And that's why I say whenever you read these articles and you listen to mainstream media, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And if you do not do your due diligence, you end up with half-truths. You don't know what the hell is going on. And that's why I might be wrong here. And if I am wrong, down below, please tell me where I got stuff wrong. Please tell me where I got stuff right. All right. But in my personal opinion, the bottom line here is that SpaceX Starlink did not go terminal to terminal to terminal and shut down 2,000 devices. They just simply shut down a node literally within seconds. Flip the switch. The same type of switch that they can flip over Iran if they want to, but they don't. Why? The GOV. Anyways, guys, I want to know what say you. What do you think about all this? All right. I don't blame SpaceX for this. I think that this is the way it is going to be when you do business. Business is not clean. Business has a lot of gray areas to it. Businesses sometimes have to get a little dirty here and there. All right, that's just the way it is. Even though you have an ethos, like I said before, a modus operandi that states that you want to have this uncensored internet for the masses, sometimes you just can't do it, even though in your heart you want to. I mean, look at how many billions of dollars Elon Musk spent on Twitter because he wanted uncensored means of communication. He's a good guy. But once again, sometimes there's things that just are uncontrolled, uncontrollable. And I think this is one of them. Anyways, guys, what say you? Down below, what do you think about all this? As I said before, if you enjoy the content, throw it a thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to put anything down there because you're shy, I'm okay with it. Put an emoji. At least I know that you got to the end of the video. That would be awesome. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, hopefully through SpaceX Starlink, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you guys.